there is something that makes this whole deal very telling. Now, let me tell you about it. The first thing about deal here very, very telling is that one, if you look at Crystal Palace, some players on loan. They want certain players on loan. They believe that next season Oliver Glasner will need different profiles. Now they don't have the financial wealth to do. They signed a new front shirt sponsorship deal, but it isn't too much, and it's even under a lot of question. It's almost Yeska, and in that money now, the earmark Chelsea as a team, they would go there and get some players on loan, whether from the academy, whether from the under 18 team, and bring it into their team. Mind you, it's a team that they believe that in South London and Chelsea being in West London, they can get that deal done. And that is more reason why Crystal Palace are also leaning towards Chelsea power. They are leaning towards Chelsea. Crystal Palace are leaning towards Chelsea as a team, and they can contact them to make sure that they do the deal. So because of Chelsea knows that they can do a deal with Crystal Palace, and then Crystal Palace can come in and then get some of their loan players until they know that the deal for Michael Olise, Crystal Palace will also not play hardball. They'll do a very good deal for him. Then they are going to come in and everything is going to be sorted in there for Abrantia, your friend Michael Olise. Then obviously there is that bit about the 6'4", 6'2" actually centre back. Very good centrally, very good as an LCB, very good in terms of on the ball. Has the aura at Chelsea for scouting in this Euros. Chelsea have scouted him. Abrantia, your friend Riccardo, Calafiori that plays for Bologna. Excellent player that Chelsea are looking at. So no make come backline. Just as the Euros started, Chelsea have sent 5 different scouts and a huge stuff as they are doing in the transfer market. Of course, in the Euros, every club is going to send scouts in there to go and scout for some of their best players. Mind you, said Chelsea signed Enzo Fernandez after they scouted him in the World Cup. After Chelsea scouted Enzo Fernandez at the World Cup, that's when they got the job done in terms of signing him. Now, there's a player that Chelsea have sent the scouts to go and watch. Not just him, but they watched him last night and they were very, very clear on him in the Euros, and they are very, very clear that it's a player that they want to go ahead and sign. I will delve into all of those stuff for you. Apart from that, Chelsea have also met a different striker than John Durn and needing the home come. I'll give you the updates on John Durn and everything that's going on there. Guys, there is a lot to unpack for you here. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Stick and say, unsubscribe to the channel and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notification in there. Make sure say you do choose all and share the link for me. Share the link to everybody, every group, whether sports group, whether any group at all that you are in. Share the link in there for me. Let us have a beautiful, beautiful conversation. But see, just before we get into the details of the transfer conversation, let me link it up to the various games that have been played in Europe, in the Euros, especially last night, and then do a quick analysis of what will happen, God willing, in the games that today, so that you can bet on some of them. Then later in the analysis, I give you a detailed breakdown of exactly what is going on in terms of the transfer market, all the updates on all their clubs. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you've not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel and then turn on notification in there. Now let's start like this. 3 games and it's the end up on board now. First one between Hungary that played against Switzerland. I felt said, given what Hungary had done in the qualifications and the fact that they were beating the qualifications and the kind of players that they had now. Yes, going to play against an annual competitor in the Europes, your friend Switzerland, was always going to be a difficult game for them. But definitely, I didn't expect Hungary to lose, and I think that defensively they were not good at all. Also, I'm not too surprised because Hungary team here said Domenico Szoboszlai and perform it to the optimum best that the team really struggles. And yesterday, when we struggled to find Domenico Szoboszlai in between the lines now, it was a difficult one for them to do. They struggled to get results for Domenico Szoboszlai and then the Hungarian team. And of course, Emre Kojudia, a player that was born, that's a Ghanaian lineage, that was born in London, Obama Ludogoro, etc. Made sure say he got an important goal for Hungary to set the opener for the Swiss team, and that's how good they were. But then the Swiss team in general was good in the middle of the park. Of course, Granit Xhaka continued the club form and Okita straight into the Swiss national team, and he showed how good he is as a player. So that was the way that game. Then to the second game of the competition. See, let me tell you this. This is one of the best paying teams that you see post that World Cup in 2010. Now, let me tell you why. First of all, their coach De La Fuentes is changing a few things. It is still on paper, nominally, 4-3-3 na normal ball under Luis Enrique. Who's it under Luis Enrique? Spain 4-ball 4-3-3. But that was much more dominated on fixated at the World Cup on having loads of possession. Kita ball nature, then they try to break you down. They play a lot of short passes. They entice you into coming to press them. Then they find spaces in behind. Sana no more. Again, it share Spain for game Morocco for boy you Spain struggled in transition. Say Morocco for by attacking us Bona. They can't kill teams on the counter attack. And in competition football, sometimes you need to have different forms of playing. Now, De La Fuentes seem to be changing some things with Spain. The first thing that De La Fuentes, as Sane said, he is changing how his Spanish side plays on the ball, with the ball. So they are not just playing the short passes now they can ping long passes as well. They can ping long passes to the left hand side, ping it to the right hand side because some of very, very good natural wingers in there. So they have it in Abrante Fen, Lamine Yamal, and then they have it in Nico Williams in there, who keep the weight for them. Natural wingers who hold the weight for them, and they're able to isolate those players to 1v1. And when they do, only a few players in the world that can stop Lamine Yamal. And now, Lamine, 16 years of age, did a madness on Abrante Fen and Josko Vardiol. And Vardiol has a lot of experience, but Vardiol, anytime he comes against some of the best 1v1 players, seems to find it very hard to adapt to Sagi. And Lamine was the latest culprit. Lamine was the latest Nipa or inflicted that pain on Abrante Fen and Josko Vardiol. And Spain were brilliant. Spain in the game, they were not just only passing a lot of balls. And they're very, very clear in first goal on Musheno. Fabian Ruiz a far ball from Fifi. And ideally, a Spanish national team will play 2-3 quick passes before they find Alvaro Morata. But immediately they turn the ball over. Marco Correa winning ball, not turning it over into the middle of the park to Rodri. Rodri found Fabian Ruiz. Then quickly they found Abrante Fen, Alvaro Morata. Dropped deep and there was space in behind. Pull the two center backs into that space now, and Alvaro Morata got in there. Then the first goal came in after, so he beats Livakovic out on the near post, and that's classic non-Spain stuff. Or both 3 back, but or in a quick counter attack, or in a much more direct way of play, or varying play, which is very, very important for what the Spanish national team are trying to do. And De La Fuente is doing a very, very good job. My problem with the Spanish side is 2 center backs in Nacho and Lenormand. Both center backs and 2 center backs are natural aggressors. All of them are all reactors. They are 2 center backs that like to cover up, that like to clean up, that react. They need a much more aggressive center back. Or no, he is more comfortable to step into midfield to close down attackers. No, I guess but as it stands now, that's a very good Spain team. The midfield of Pedri, Fabian Ruiz, and then Rodriguez Cascante was brilliant in the middle of the park. And I think yes, Croatia are a very good team. They probably could have gotten more from the team, but you can agree that the Spanish team were dominant, they were better on the day, and they deserve everything that they got on the day. Kudos to Coach Efrain De La Fuentes, brilliant display in the middle of the park. They also built to the back three, having concentration in the middle of the park in Fabian Ruiz, and then of course having Rodri Cascante in the middle of the park as well. Then Pedri playing in there as a number 10, while the 2 wingers kept the weight. I said it on Isra, said the big thing that you are going to see with our Spain team, and they said when the Spain team are playing, it's going to be slightly different from the German team. In fact, the German team, they use 2 inside number 10s. The Spain team will use their wide forwards rather. They'll keep them high and wide. They'll isolate them 1v1 inside place. They can create from outward, and they did so. Lamine Yamal cross from Dani Carvajal goal was clinical and classical example of what the Spaniards wanted to do under Luis De La Fuentes as the new manager. I think Spain definitely up there in terms of quality. Now then to the final game. Now this is the game a lot of the scouts were there, and I'll tell you why. Loads of scouts. Chelsea inquired 3 different scouts, and Chelsea are planning a different way of scouting their players. Almost scouts in the various games, and they don't let them sit at the same place. They separate them up, allow all of them to write their various notes. They come together, compare notes, and then they look at where there was an intersection, where they agreed on the various principles, the various profiles, the various skill set of the specific players, and almost scouting, and that's an almost our game. So indeed, Chelsea sent a scout in there, Man United sent a scout, Juventus scouts, they were there, for a much more cosmetic reason. But all of these teams sent a scout. Now, why so? Because an Italian team were defending champions. I don't think in the last few years, defending champions be aqua competition, they've been written off as much as this Italian team has been written off. Of course, they were written off because someone man qualify and World Cup, no, and then they are going into this team knowing that it's going to be a difficult one for them. Again, because Italy team of Kitane vast different from what they took to the last Euros, where they had a lot of quality, a lot of experienced players, more of experience than quality. Because I think that this team also has quality, but just not the experience, right? Now, Italy, coached by another brilliant manager. Of course, that's Luciano Spalletti. Brilliant manager on the ball, brilliant manager without the ball. Managed to timidate Napoli, the Scudetto, and got them that point. And he has been brilliant in terms of everything that he wants to do. Of course, if he followed the job of Luciano Spalletti, he has moved from AS Roma, Monia Diade. When Roma wanted to start their project, he was there. When Inter wanted to start the process of winning the Scudetto again, he started it for them before Antonio Conte came to finish. So, in the Italian football world, he's one of the best managers that you see in them. Now, when he went into the game, it's a lineup and I'm predicting. I've posted on my Facebook wall said Italy are definitely going to start in the nominal 4 at the back system, but it's going to move into a back 3, and that's how Luciano Spalletti wants to play. He started with Bastoni, Calafiori, and Obo, Di Marco, and then Di Lorenzo. Now, the thing is that anytime Italy had a ball, a back 3 semblance. Into a ball, Calafiori on the left hand side, Federico Alessandro Bastoni, Riccardo Calafiori on the left hand side, Alejandro Bastoni at central center back, and then played Di Lorenzo as a right center back in terms of ball progression. Mind you, Di Lorenzo worked with Luciano Spalletti at Napoli, so he understands his principles of play in terms of build up owning. So our principles very, very well, and exactly what he has to do on the ball. So it wasn't really going to be new to him. So that back 3, then it means that Abrantia, if Federico Di Marco was going to keep the width high and wide as more like an extra winger. So in the middle of the pack, he had Jorginho and then Nicolo Barella. Obi Obabe drop it deeper to come and receive the ball from either of Bastoni and Calafiori. Then the other one will occupy the other players there, Albanian players that are trying to press or shadow back and in a mid block. Then on the other side, mind you, Italy went into that game with the likes of Pellegrini, Federico Chiesa, Davide Fratesi. That game. The up top was Gianluca Scamacca. But I think that whilst everybody will talk about the build-up play of the Italians now, I think that one thing for me, the job of Scamacca, the job that he did without the ball, the press of Scamacca, how hard he worked for the Italian national team and how hard he dropped. There was a time I want to call to the fullback of the Albanians now, or call about 7-10 years to go and press to prevent the Albanian fullback from finding the number 6 in terms of ball progression or. And I think that generally the Italians were brilliant in how they wanted to play on and off the ball, and that's what you want to see. Now, there was a player in there. Player I've tweeted about it. In fact, a couple of months ago, I tweeted that the world will begin to see this boy called Riccardo Calafiori at the Euros. And now, just when Italy played their first game, everybody in the world is beginning to see Calafiori. I'm announcing to you, say yesterday, Chelsea had scouts in there to go and watch Riccardo Calafiori. Now, why did Chelsea watch Riccardo Calafiori? Chelsea extra man physicality or merchant. They've already signed Tosin Adarabioyo. Now, one of the things is that Chelsea knows that in terms of physicality and versatility, it's something that they do like on the backline next year. Now, let me tell you the story of Riccardo Calafiori. Calafiori, Roma as a right back about 2 or 3 seasons ago. Now, Calafiori in a very bad season in Roma. Only a bad season in Roma. He was sold to FC Barca in Switzerland. Ekokobo 1 season on him. And now quickly, his agent organized a very deal. His agent went straight to Bologna. For no catch him said, there is a boy called Riccardo Calafiori. Wabo Italian Serie A anymore. Wabo for AS Roma. But when you had a very good time under the AS Roma manager at the time, TS Remo, someone the neighbor back from Switzerland because of Italian. He's not enjoying his time in Switzerland. Someone the neighbor back to the Italian Serie A. The next purchase and also in a big move you'll be whether here or anywhere beyond. Say Eba, we will go and give Barca 50% of the deal. Then we will not pay so much today. So it was an onward sale for Branch friend Calafiori. And I'm say fine, then fine. FC Barca left the young Calafiori to leave Barca to come and play for Bologna. And then last season, under Thiago Motta, he was one of the best players on the ball. Physically, go focus that said he has the hair of a branch friend of Maldini, Nesta, and even Cannavaro in his young age, because of his hair and good nature. But Calafiori is physically very, very good physically very, very good on the ball, steps into midfield, is able to play the ball very well, and it's also a technical leader with children. Yes, some defensive actions need to be corrected in the game of Abrante friend Riccardo Calafiori, but definitely he's a top player, top centre back. And then Chelsea had scouts in Dortmund when Italy were playing against Albania just to watch one player, not Albania for striker or Chelsea striker, your friend Armando Broja. No, it was our branch friend Riccardo Calafiori, because Chelsea want to see exactly what people in the Serie A have been seeing about Calafiori. And trust me, right after say that game was ended, no, everybody, including those scouts, are beginning to accept it. Calafiori, a boy that I saw months ago, that I said, hey, this boy, the world is going to see him. No. Now almost everybody is accepting that Calafiori, hey, the next big thing to come from the Italian Serie A. See, keep an eye. Mind you, say Calafiori, verbal agreement in principle. Listen to me very carefully. Verbal agreement in principle with Juventus. Calafiori, verbal agreement in principle with Juventus. Verbal agreement in principle with Juventus said he is going to come there, but Bologna so catcher will be out. They've told everybody say they don't want to sell Riccardo Calafiori this summer. Mind you, Bologna are going to play in the Champions League next season, and they believe it's someone in the Champions League under Vincenzo Italiano, they are going to play very well. If they play well, then definitely the stocks of Abrante friend Calafiori is going to go high. If it goes higher, then different clubs will come. They believe some Madrid no betting about, they believe some Man City no betting about, they believe some Man United no betting about, and one person be Juventus at top player and CCA, Juventus Turner. They are the only club apart from Chelsea CCA to go in and then snatch Abrante friend Calafiori. But there are lots more clubs. They Bologna will get some more money, because also in deal, I'm already facing a catch a while ago. Deal how many FC Barca sign up. Barca will get about 50% of the sell-on value of Abrante friend Riccardo Calafiori. So Chelsea went in there, watched Riccardo Calafiori, previewed him, saw him, and they believe he's a player they would want to look at. Mind you, a lot of scouting job will be done in these Euros. A lot of teams are going to scout players outside Euros, because they believe that the germs are there. Some of the best players are there. Of course, in that Italy game, Federico Chiesa, a player of betting free Juventus this summer, and acquired the man of the match in that game. Federico Chiesa, that game. Now, to the next one. See, and you remember and I build a started some report here saying. And me, I have a little problem with build any Germany for when it comes to transfer conversations. Why? Because several times when we say Germany for no report on the same year, sometimes it leaves much to be desired, Kaka. So when I'm listening to the Germans when they are reporting, especially on transfer, I'm a little bit careful. Now, this striker is called Serhou Guirassy, or a Guinea player. He's from Guinea. He played in the African Cup of Nations. See, say, pure goal scoring recent in about 2 seasons in Europe. Players are on teams a lot of goals. Mind you, about 3 seasons ago, Stuttgart were on the verge of being relegated from the German Bundesliga. Now, their coach, Sebastian Hoeneß, found this guy, a friend of Serhou Guirassy, for 2 seasons running. He has been very, very, very close to winning the highest goal scorer in Germany, because he gets you goals. Serhou Guirassy is a very, very good player in terms of being a striker. He pops up at the right time. He has a very good ball striking ability, a technical ability and social. He's physically very good. He has the height. He can dominate physical battles. He can go into them and win them. And that's the story of Abrante friend Serhou Guirassy. Now, Bill before report, he said Chelsea have also met Abrante friend Serhou Guirassy. They've gone into the conversation with Serhou Guirassy. After say Chelsea called John Durn deal Nima, Aston Villa catch up said they want one player from Chelsea, your friend Ian Matheson, and not Conor Gallagher. Chelsea went around looking around again. There's a possibility, say, in the Chelsea John Durn deal, and there are going to be some exchanges of players. But mind you, exchange of players is much more complicated, very, very complicated deal to do when you are doing in Europe in recent times. It is Serhou Guirassy that Chelsea have also earmarked as another alternative to Abrante, your friend John Durn in for a team, your friend of Aston Villa. So Chelsea would want to look at Serhou Guirassy in there, or your forward, 28 years in there, preferred foot, right foot, 187 centimeters in height. So that will make you about 6'5", 6'4", thereabout at the very least. So open the data and as the statistics for my friend. He played for Stuttgart last season. 2 seasons ago, he has still been there. Last season, 2023-2024 season, about 28 matches, or started 25, or more, about 2,213 minutes, 3 out of 10 in terms of substitution. Or share goals 28 last season out of the 28 games. Not boring, means averaging a goal per every 90 minutes, a goal per almost every 90 minutes. In there, was assisted 3 times, headed goals, no, or share 4, penalty goals, or share 4. So it means that non-penalty goals, or share 24 of them. Shots on target 44, shots off targets 21, 83% successful passing, means that he has a very good successful passing range. Several long passes 68% in there, and that's the statistics of Abrantia Fenicero Gurasi in the German Bundesliga last season. And it tells you that he's a top player. He's a very, very good player. DF people call him about 2 matches, started 2 matches thing, or say 2 matches, or say 2 games in the DF people call for team your friend Stuttgart last season, and that's for Abrantia, your friend Seho Gouassi. Mind you, he has been through France, he has played for Stade Rennais before, played for Amiens in the French lower decisions, played for Cologne first time when he was in Germany, and then come and play for Auxerre, play for Lille, play for Stade de Vallios, and then coming up to come and play for Stuttgart, where his team is really succeeded under Abrantia, your friend Seho Gouassi. Last season, open a Juma Stuttgart for the year last season. And first of all, on the table, Stuttgart for finished second behind FC Bayern München, behind FC Bayer Leverkusen. Before Bayern München were third, Cologne were fourth, and Borussia Dortmund were fifth in there in terms of what they got in the But based because team, my friend Bayer Leverkusen, are going to qualify to go and play in the Champions League team. Borussia Dortmund also are going to be out there, and that's the quality of team your friend FC Stuttgart and Seho Gouassi. So Chelsea also have met Seho Gouassi, and in the story, everything is clear. It's about 15 to 17 million euros for Abrantia friend Seho Gouassi. I just feel Seho Gouassi is too old for what Chelsea will want. Seho Gouassi is a good player, but they will just be a little bit careful looking at Seho Gouassi. Now, the update to John Durn is simple. Chelsea have been told that there's a possibility of a player swap for John Durn. Possibility of a player swap for John Durn in the transfer market. So Chelsea beat a player of Openo. Aston Villa said they want some players for Chelsea and they would want to see so beating a player swap for Abrantia, your friend John Durn, and Chelsea are also looking at it in there to see if they can do a deal for John Durn for 40 million. I think Chelsea share Obi to say in Kuku game how he has recovered from injury, or share to mission double figures. Say Abrantia for Nicolas Jackson to still share double figures. If Palmer share double figures, yeah, then a young striker may be good for them. So maybe I think that Chelsea are much more leaning towards John Durn than the Seho Gouassi as it stands now. Like I said earlier, Chelsea already have an agreement with Abrantia friend Olise. It's an agreement in principle. So Chelsea just need to do a deal with team my friend Crystal Palace. If they're able to do a deal with Crystal Palace, then Abrantia, Michael Olise is definitely going to choose Chelsea. Now, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I will not take too much of your time. I'll say thank you. So subscribe to the channel. We're taking 10 notification. I'll see you in the course of the day.